Yo, what is going on, you guys? It is your boy Faven the Gamer here, back again with another video. So today I'm gonna be just doing something different on my channel. Today we're gonna be reacting to scary animated videos, and this animated scary story, all credit go to Wancy Entertainment. I'm gonna leave the channel in the description for you guys to go sub to them, because they do really cool really scary videos, and they animate them. So yeah, all credit to them. I'm not trying to get copyrighted, but let's just get into the video. Let's do this. Too Scary Safari.
It was a beautiful day in August. My family and I had just finished packing for our trip. We were bored and hadn't planned to do anything because our trip was in a couple of days. So we all decided to go to the Safari Zoo place because it was only an hour drive and a great way to kill time.
Yep.
When we got there and we noticed that there were a bunch of people at the zoo, my family could get impatient of this, so we asked the receptionist if there was anything we could do that wasn't too busy. Lucky for us, there were private tours. They were a bit expensive, but the lady assured us that the tour guides were highly educated and great at their job. We were given animal food and introduced to a private tour guide.
One of the killers.
When we first saw our tour guide, we noticed he was a little off. He had a weird lisp, didn't speak very much English, and had a really bad lazy eye.
He's a killer.
When my dad first tried to greet him, he ignored my dad and gestured us to one of the Safari minivans.
Sucks.
We were a little taken aback, but didn't think anything of it.
Bro,
once we got into the van,
we
noticed that there was a bad smell and a bunch of animal food on the floor.
It's a dead body, dude.
He started driving before we could get our seatbelts on. We first passed by lions and hyenas. It was all really cool.
Hyenas.
There were also a bunch of vans and tour buses behind and in front of us that were taking all the attention of the animals. Out of the blue, the tour guide turned onto a trail that no other buses or vans were going on.
It's gonna kill them all, guys.
My dad got a little suspicious and asked the tour guide where we were going. The tour guide replied with elephants, shortly because once again he didn't know English very well. Well, we really wanted to see the elephants at that time, so we all got excited. After a good 10 minutes of driving, we noticed that we had seen no animals and no other tour guides. Just never-ending forest.
These guys are idiots.
My mom, who was paranoia, was getting worried and repeatedly asked the tour guide where he was going. But then, he never answered. All of a sudden, he stopped the car and said he had to get something from the back of his car.
I made something.
My dad was getting red flags and watched him from the rearview mirror. And then, my dad hopped into the driver's seat, locked all the doors immediately, and pressed the accelerator to the floor. With a fearful face that I've never seen before like that. We were all slammed into the backs of our seats. "What's going on?" my mom yelled. "I saw him holding an axe," my dad yelled back. We made it back to the safari and to the receptionist. We explained the whole situation and she called the police. They had a long search and finally he got caught after a few hours.
Oh my god.
We got a full refund and later found out that our tour guide didn't even work at the safari but used a fake ID. And had history linked with murder, kidnapping, and other crimes we won't mention. We also found out the reason that the car smelled so bad was because the tour guide admitted to killing multiple safari animals and taking them home. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if my dad didn't look in the rearview mirror when the tour guide stopped the car.
You'd be dead, that's what. Oh my, yo, story 1 was scary, dude. Oh, that was scary, dude. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, I'm looking for a next one to watch. Okay, I'm gonna watch this one, uninvited guest at my friend's party. Let's see it. Oh my god.
This happened around the year 2011 when I was 13. One day my friend was planning on throwing a party at his place, so my older cousin drove me there. It took about 4 hours to get there.
4 hours?
And when I finally arrived, it was around 8 p.m. A few hours later, we were having fun, but out of nowhere, I had to use the bathroom really badly.
That looks like some lonely
About
party.
5 minutes had passed, and while I was in the bathroom, I heard a crunching noise coming from the woods.
Oh God.
At first, I thought it was someone who arrived late to the party. But all of a sudden, I heard loud banging on the glass. I started to think it might be my friend just looking for me. So I told him that I was inside the bathroom. However, it wasn't my friend. It was a guy who looked like he was in his late 50s.
Bro.
He said that his car broke down. He then asked me to help him, but I was already paranoid about strangers. So I simply told him that I couldn't help him. He nodded his head and walked away. When I was done using the bathroom, I went back to the room where my friend was.
In their bathroom.
I told him what I saw and what the man said to me. My friend looked like he just saw a ghost. Then he finally said that for almost 2 months, this man was stalking his entire family, and also saw him from the bathroom window tons of times.
Bro.
They asked the police to check their area several times, but they couldn't help his family. When he said that, I thought he was overreacting, until I heard the same banging noise now coming from the door.
Oh God.
It was more violent now.
A lot of people,
Everybody paused what they were doing and looked at the door in shock. One guest broke the silence and said it was probably only the pizza delivery man. But my friend told me not to answer the door at all costs. I looked through the peephole, and there he was. The same guy I saw through the bathroom's window. He had a psychotic-looking face, and was licking his lips nonstop. We all just stood there in silence and hoped that the man would go away. But after a few minutes, the loud noise came from the basement. The guy threw a brick at the basement's window and crawled through it. Suddenly, it sounded as if a gunshot echoed through the entire house.
I don't even have a basement.
My friend and most of the partygoers screamed and ran out of the house. I stayed behind along with a few others.
Run.
One of the older kids was trained in martial arts, so I saw him assault and attack the man until he was shot. Afterward, the man escaped and ran into the woods. The whole scene was chaotic now.
Wow, he's dead.
An ambulance and police car arrived soon after, and fortunately, the kid that was shot survived.
Ooh, that's good.
After a few days of intense investigation, the police went to my friend's house and told him that they caught the guy.
Let's go.
It turns out that he was living in the woods.
Oh.
He also kidnapped 3 kids, but luckily they were found in time and set free. But they also found out that he had already killed a few kids already.
Oh my God.
So after that, he was condemned to death for murder.
That's good. That's what he deserves. Okay, alright, we're gonna do one more, guys. We're gonna do one more. Alright, so, this is the last one, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and, yeah.
I am a 19-year-old male, and this happened many years ago.
Wow.
When I was very young.
How old?
To give you an idea of the layout of our house back then, the living room has multiple windows that directly look out onto the back garden.
I always close my windows because I'm paranoid.
There's a big gate in our driveway to stop anyone from getting in. Next to the living room is the kitchen, which also has more windows, but also the back door. This will be relevant to this story. So my mother was completing the household chores as she does one day. I was sitting in the living room watching television on the sofa with my back to the living room windows. All of a sudden, I saw a figure reflecting off of the picture frame hanging on the wall opposite the window. I asked my mom if my dad was back from work, to which she said no. I'll never ever forget the look of horror on her face when I told her that yes, he was. He's in the garden. She looked outside the window and almost had a heart attack when she saw a scruffy-looking but fairly built man outside the living room window. This didn't seem to faze him at all, though. He psychotically smiled at my mother through the glass, and my mom asked him what he was doing on our property. He said nothing, with the same sadistic smirk on his face. She said that she was going to call the police, and what he said is one of the scariest things I've ever heard. He screamed at my mother through the glass that if she even got her phone out, that he would break the glass. She did not know what to do. She paused and tried to rapidly think of what to do next. How to keep us both safe.
Get a knife.
She wanted to protect me by calling the police, but she also didn't want him to hurt me if she did try to call them.
Oh my God.
As soon as he saw that she was terrified, he ran for the back door. Luckily, it was locked because my mom has always been a paranoid person, so she always locks the doors. He screamed at her to let him in, or if she didn't, he'd find a way in and kill us both. My mother told him to fuck off, which enraged him, and he pulled out a pocket knife and began bashing hard against the windows.
Oh my God.
I was still oblivious to what was happening, as I just thought it was my dad. I was very young. My mom frantically grabbed me, and I don't mean picked me up. She literally grabbed me off the sofa and booked it up the stairs.
And how'd you survive?
We were backing up in the upstairs hallway, looking for anywhere to hide, when my mom's younger brother popped out of his room with his headphones on. My mom didn't even realize he was home, and he clearly didn't hear the commotion downstairs because of his headphones. My uncle was 25 at the time and was really well built. He's intimidated a lot of people. My mom cried and told him that there's a guy who's trying to break in.
Oh, they're safe now.
While she's telling him this, that creepy lunatic screamed from downstairs that he was in the house. He said cynically, "Boogeyman is coming out to get you," which really freaked me out. It freaked me out so much that I actually remember that to this day. Anyway, since the guy didn't know my uncle was home, he kept yelling and telling us to come out and that it wouldn't be painful. My uncle told us to lock ourselves in the bathroom and call the police. We did, and after 5 minutes of groaning and blatant violence downstairs, the police stormed in and found the guy bloodied and my uncle on top of him, beating him mercilessly. My uncle really didn't hold back. Turns out that he was a known pedophile, which is why he was watching me for so long while I was watching TV. After that day, my mom was terrified to be home alone at the house. I loved it as a child because I found the running and hiding fun, obviously because I was young. I can never thank my uncle enough for being there at the right time when my mother clearly forgot that he was still home. It honestly gives me chills, wondering what he would have done to my mother and myself if my uncle was not there.
You'd be dead, that's what. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this creepy video, but I will see you guys